Replace the circuits in my head and cut me open. I just wanna feel the pressure, release it from me, take it from me. All the pain and suffering, get the fuck out of me. Take it from me, take it from me. All this pain and suffering, get the fuck out of me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. It's really cool to speak with you. Thank you. How are you doing today? You been good so far? Early days, 2 weeks in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just getting excited for the release, man. I'm really stoked to get this music out for everybody.
What's been keeping you busy, particularly at the moment?
Well, I just did a bit of camping. I like going camping a lot. Um, and then honestly, just been coming home and making as much content as I can, especially for TikTok because allegedly we're losing the app in a week. So, yeah, we're facing a nationwide ban here for TikTok.
Oh,
So, yeah, so we've heard this a million times, but it's I've been kind of keeping up with it. It looks like people are doing like mass following on TikTok right now, so I am pushing as much trader stuff as I can before I possibly lose it. So might as well.
God damn, we're so disconnected over here. I forgot I'd heard about that coming, but I forgot it was that bloody soon. Well, fingers crossed the next week or so is just super, super successful for you on that.
Yes, that's what we're hoping for, man.
Oh, that's fabulous. Any New Year's resolutions? Are you the type of person to do that sort of thing? Personal ones or even ones related to the band?
Honestly, I like to try to capitalize on so for January 1st comes around. I don't really have any goals, so to speak, but I try to have as many productive days in a row I can and just use it as a bit of a motivation to push myself a little bit, like especially for like posting content is a big one, especially
Yeah.
lately, especially for our genre. I mean, you need to have that little push. And yeah, I've just been trying to post every day. That's just been my big one, getting ready for the album drop.
Yeah. Are you enjoying it? Because posting every day, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of there's a lot of thought that has to go into that. Are you enjoying
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I mean, it can be draining. I mean,
Mm.
obviously, but that comes with any work. But I'm trying to do what I love. So, I mean, it's definitely it's tolling at times. I used to stream a lot, and that took the life out of me. 4 to 8 hours a day. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but there's just something about the camera constantly rolling, and it's like, you know, they catch every little thing that's happening. So. Yeah, I've even farted on stream, been like, "Oh, I'm all right." So they're like,
There is
"Well,
no hiding it.
you guys are with me, you know."
Oh, that's fantastic. Of course, I'm not sure anything could be any more exciting than where we're currently at. Your fifth album, Phobias, is out on February 21st, and the singles, they've gone down an absolute treat so far. Everything seems really good. Everything feels really good. Where is your head at with it right now as we find ourselves a little over a month away from the release?
So I'm excited. I'm nervous at the same time. There's a lot of expectations from people coming into an album like this, especially since it's been such a long time. But realistically, I'm excited for it. But one thing that I do want to keep up on is the consistency of how often we release music. I kind of want to pick up the pace a little bit in the next year or
Ooh,
two. So, even after this album, we've definitely are working on something near the end of the year to come out as well. So. I'm not 100% sure on it right now, but we do have something that we're working on with another band as well. A
wow.
couple cool things there. But yeah, just trying to stay motivated. I'm on year 12, and it can be tiresome, especially in a genre that's still kind of in the up and coming stages after all these years. But yeah, we're working on it every day, every single
Yeah,
day.
it's crazy and it still sort of feels underground to a degree.
Yeah, it does.
I've heard this album. It is an absolute beast. That I dare I say might be some of the best stuff, if not the best stuff that you've put out to date. There's a confidence here. So I have to ask you, that confidence that I've noticed, was that present when you first set out to make new music, and how did you nurture it?
So, typically going into to writing,
Hmm.
especially this album, I was confident going in because I knew that I had 100% creative control of all of my lyrics, and there was no rewriting or having to redo things. It all came from the heart. And being 100% responsible for my job is, it may seem easy at first, but obviously being in a band for a long time, some people like to put their hands in those things as well. But um, after all these years, especially now where we are through, from member changes all the way to, big tours or not so big tours, it's just good to be able to be myself and be creative. And, this album means so much to me. And, but no matter what, people will take it the way that they do. And, the message is there for people, but whether or not they take it the way I want them to is up to them. It's not really in my control. Some people like the music in different ways, and no matter what, as long as you like it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, you're happy to let anyone enjoy it their way, open to interpretation. It doesn't matter as long as they're loving
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Well, those early days of creating this music for this particular album, what would become what we have now? What was your vision? Did you have a clear one?
So when I was young and started Traitors, it kind of just was like an overnight thing. And
Yeah.
within our first single, within like 4 months, 5 months, we were already on the road and playing little shows here and there. But my vision past that, once I was able to really officiate things and make it like a real business, I'm like, all right, we're all in. This is my day to day. This is my everything. And everybody has my full focus and my full attention for this project. So um, I feel like there's still there's always a different type of moment to be had every couple years. And especially now, um, especially with the organic promotion that apps like TikTok give you. I mean, I'm trying to captivate that next moment. And I feel like that's hugely important. You're seeing bands like Peeling Flesh, you're
Mm.
seeing bands like Kublai Khan getting massively over in especially TikTok, because
Yeah.
they really aren't they don't work as much off of, pay for a boosted promotion type. It's, if people see it and they engage in it, it just keeps growing. And I feel like it's an incredible app to that style of app, because there will be a million more. And that's just what happens, is you got to capitalize as soon as it comes out, start posting content. I feel like that's big right now. You could save thousands, on just making content every day on these types of apps. And that's the next moment that we're working towards right now.
Do you see that as a tool to not just reach more people where you are, but pe reach more people worldwide? Because you mentioned Kubla Khan, for example, and they're a band that's translating really well in the UK,
Yeah.
which is really difficult to do.
It is. It is. We have been out to the UK a couple of times, and
Mm.
the shows are always fun there, but it definitely, it's such a niche place to go for underground metal. It really is. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody deserves a good show. And one place we still haven't been is like Australia, Japan. There's so many places that I still have yet to cover. And I just feel like no matter what, no matter how big or small, we want to visit as many places as we can at least once.
Of course, and hopefully with a release like Phobias that just continues to build up your name to such a degree that these things happen. Speaking of the album in general here, did you find yourself in a particularly creative place when it came to writing it, and where were you drawing inspiration from?
Typically, when I have creative control, I like to kind of resurface some old demons and stuff like that, and kind of captivate the vibe conceptually. Conceptually, uh, you could call Phobias a successor of Night Terrors. And when I wrote Night Terrors, I just took my anxieties and created the sleep deprivation type concept. I never really dealt with sleep problems, but
Yep.
now it's a little bit different. I'm grinding my teeth in my sleep and dealing with tossing and turning all night and stuff like that. And so I kind of created Phobias as, if Night Terrors was the cause, that Phobias is the effect, the long-term effects that these things have if they go, you know, if you don't take care of them. And a lot of people live their lives like that. They just tolerate it, and eventually one day it will break them.
Hmm. That's incredible. How? Did that just come to you in a flash? Like, how did you explore that to begin with? You have this idea, you have this, I say, concept, so to speak, and you're looking at these things that are affecting you now. How do you take that and then go, okay, this is what this is the path I'm going to go on musically?
Yeah, so I write a lot of my stuff with my guitarist Alan, and
Mm.
we also have a friend that I had met. So I was live streaming and I came across a band and I said, "Man, this guitarist is super good." Well, it turns out he was a producer and he kind of just makes instrumentals a lot. So his name's Luke Fiadino, and it was like a diamond in the rough. The man is an absolute musical genius in every aspect. It's not even just metal. He writes all sorts of awesome stuff. But the universe kind of had me meet him because he was actually a major Night Terrors fan. It's his favorite release. So he wrote Phobias. So he started as a fan of specifically Night Terrors, and the fact that I was able to find somebody who was such a big fan of it and have them help me captivate that was huge. So he kind of brought the idea along about a year. We started writing Phobias November of 2023, just
Mm.
about. So we've been sitting on this album for quite some time, but it needed the proper, TLC, and here we are. But I just take a lot of personal experience and I kind of create a character out of them, and I kind of trick my brain because I think I'm creating a character, but I'm really just projecting.
Yeah. But
So
from
yeah, you'll have
what
that.
what was particularly exciting about that period for you, though? And when it came to what were you creating?
I loved that I was revisiting something that was really special to the cult fan base of Traitors. I honestly, you know, Traitors will always be that super heavy band. If I ever have clean singing and music, it just won't show up in Traitors. I
Right.
feel like Traitors is for the heavy stands and music, and um, it kind of just revisits something that it's a sound that I wanted to keep chasing because we had our lead foot in that type of music. It was so unique at the time. Um, rather than chase a sound, we were leading, and that's a good position to be in. So being able to go back and revisit Night Terrors is special, and it makes you want to keep revisiting, old things, especially like people love hate campaign. People love
Mm.
hate campaign. So, that's another one that I'd be interested in revisiting as well.
Are you confident you can get the balance right though of being like looking backwards but not being too nostalgic heavy?
Yeah, I mean, to a point, I feel like, especially with what Luke wrote, we our foundation for that was nostalgia, but the music is
Mm.
so modern and current. I always think there's a way to captivate the old fans and keep them happy and keep them like, damn, this is still heavy, but
Yeah.
still having that modern sound that makes new people turn their heads and check it out for the first time.
Does that mean you kind of like let's say you release singles, you do you find yourself trawling the comment sections, trying to sort of get a gauge on what people are feeling, particularly older fans, to see if they're enjoying it and see if new people are coming in?
I think that all press is good press because I
Mm.
feel like when you start getting a lot of negative comments, it means that you're reaching a very wide demographic of new people. And I think that's super important to have. Realistically, my fan base is incredibly supportive, and every song that I come out with, they're like, dude, another banger, you know. But I mean, realistically, I mean, the numbers will speak for themselves. People will always like it, but I mean, I just want to go from I want to go with our the type of music that we release from the heart, no
Yeah.
matter what. I don't want to chase and I don't want to compete. A little competition's healthy, but I have been in a position where, at one point pressure's made diamonds, and at the next point pressure also makes coal. So sometimes you don't want to put that on yourself and chase too much. So no matter what people say, we'll always follow um, what we think is best.
It's fair to say that at this point, this far into Traitors, this point, part far into your personal music career and journey, that you have a more relaxed stance than just general. You're able to kind of sit back and see the bigger picture and enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. So, obviously there's a lot of work that comes with
Of
doing
course.
doing something like this full time, but especially the writing process. We meet up in Discord and we have a virtual cable that connects our computers and we share a screen together, and I can hear everything that they're doing in real time now. So it just takes all the pressure off of writing. You don't have to meet up and make a whole day about it. I can get up and use the bathroom or go get a cup of coffee and still be in the comfort of my home. So
Yeah.
we wrote uh phobias, technically 18 hours away from each other, but thank God we have this because it took us almost 4 or 5 months to complete writing. And if we did that in a studio, it would probably cost me a solid hundred grand. So that's a long time to be at the studio. So I'm grateful for the internet for sure.
Oh yeah, those technological advances that exist, use them to your benefit. They're there for
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Yep.
Was there a particular moment or point where you saw what would be phobias? I call it a holy heck, we have an album on our hands moment or point.
I think that I mean, I've got tens of metal songs or ska songs or country or whatever just all over my projects in my Reaper folder, um of just us having fun and spitballing. And yeah, kind of just one day Luke had brought up how much he loved Night Terrors, and I told him how much I wanted to success that sound, have a successor of that sound. And it was just like, he's when you put him to something and he kind of goes into like a kind of creates the character that writes the music. So he creates a guy that is writing the music. It's really unique. And
Yeah.
you know, with that, it was just like, all right. And the next day I woke up and he's like, check this out. And it just kept going, bam, 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 bam. And it all just came out supernatural.
That is incredible, isn't it? That's amazing. That's a talent I can't even fathom.
That's exactly what you want. I don't like the pressure. I like it. I like things to be fun. I mean, the Traitors' first song ever was 55 beats per minute. It was so slow and so sludgy, and when my old drummer Steven came to me, he's like, "Hey, I've got this drum track. We should check it out." It was like 110, 120 BPM, and I said, "Cut it in half." And he's like, "Really?" And thank God he let me go with the flow and find a creative vision, because Steven's the guy that got me out of bed. He's the guy. I mean, I was sleeping in till probably 3 p.m. and he's like, "Hey, I'm here." I had forgotten completely he was coming over to talk about starting a new band. And if it wasn't for him, doing that and then letting me kind of find this crazy, sludgy, super over the top heavy band, because he's very new metal, alternative, old school stuff like that. So I thank him for that. He really helped me find that vision. So
Incredible. Massive shout out to him. That's what's wonderful to hear. But let's turn to you specifically, your lyrics and what areas you wanted to explore this time around. Did you have any trouble? Let's begin with that. Did you have any trouble bringing ideas forward?
yeah, I mean, usually when I write things, they come from a lot of personal experience. So
Yeah.
there's just that a few months after where you gotta not bury the things that I talked about, but just realize not that I've buried them, but more, hey, I conquered these things. I forgave people. I have I've had my time with this, and now I can. It all kind of needs to settle back down for it to really go away all the way. But it's almost like I'm method acting when I write these albums. I'm when I wrote and recorded Night Terrors,
Mm.
I put a blanket up in a spare room in the corner of a closet, and the takes were good enough for me to send it off, which I'm very grateful for. But I really had like 4 or 5 months of alone time. And
Yeah.
the only time that I had was really through screens with other people. And people were getting concerned for me. I'm like, I'm just doing my job. But
Mm.
after that, it kind of stuck with me. It's like I just prefer to be at home. I don't want to go out anymore. I don't, I kind of just want to be about, what I'm doing here. And so there's definitely some things to handle after writing stuff like that. But that's the one thing about metal that I can dislike sometimes is even though it's relatable, it's like it's not always fun writing
Mm.
about these things. It can be difficult for sure.
Has that opening up yourself in such a way, has that is that something that's always been something that comes easy to you, or is it something it's become getting more and more natural as you develop and as you've developed as an artist?
I feel like I had a lot of traumas when I started Traitors, and it made it really easy because it was like free therapy. It was
Mm.
like I was writing to the world, and they interpreted it the way that they did. And as I've healed over time, it has been difficult to revisit those things because it's like I feel like I've already overcome a lot of these things, but I don't want to. Traders is about the present struggle.
Yeah.
Traders isn't about, oh, I overcame it, oh, I'm invincible now, oh, I'm unstoppable now. I'm not really like a it's about the struggle. It's about the now. Um, and it can be tough when I'm really, content with my personal life and you know, revisiting those things, I have to conceptualize them to keep them unique. So
Do you find yourself initially, when you consider and even thinking about phobias, and you were considering revisiting certain thoughts and ideas and places and times you'd gone through, did you initially find yourself almost rejecting it and thinking, no, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to focus on that. I want to and do something else.
yeah, so I mean, honestly, as soon as we got the concept for phobias, I knew exactly what I wanted to bring out, and there were a lot of experience, a lot of the issues that I was having at the time of writing, um, uh, phobias, and a
Mm.
lot of it also has to do with like I'm on year, almost on year 12. Um, there have been a lot of second thoughts I've had. I'm in the later rounds of my deathcore career. To be transparent, I'm 32 now, and I don't know. In my head, I'm like, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I mean, I'm still struggle touring sometimes, and it's so hit and miss, and I wonder if I'm not good enough, or so those things helped show up, especially in the track Deprive. And there's just a lot of second thoughts that you have, especially being in a niche uh, genre that you want to be your full-time business. And we're an independent band, and
Yeah.
it doesn't make it any easier because labels usually manifest moments for bands, and that's their job. Um, and those bands have to do what they will with it. So uh, it can be tough sometimes. I mean, it's a grind, but that being said, I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. So I'm always working on new things. I've always got something new I'm trying to work on. So
Well, you are an artist. You ultimately continue to develop and grow and have done over the years, not just in Traitors, but in everything you do. But speaking about Traitors and Phobias particularly, and I want to discuss your vocals, specifically pushing yourself. Did you have moments where you found you push yourself not just to the limit, but did things that perhaps you didn't think you were capable of?
yeah, there was a lot. I was able to bring a lot of the hip hop that I was influenced. I have two older sisters, so when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, my sisters were already in their late teens, 18, 19 years old, and they showed me a lot of really cool old school hip hop, Wu-Tang, Outkast, stuff like that. And I think I was able to bring a lot of it into to Phobias, but I just kind of like just let myself let it all bleed out on Phobias, and it definitely brings a whole new level emotionally, whether people realize it or not or how they interpret it. But it brings a whole new level to Traders. It definitely does. It's very intense. This is a very
Mm,
fast-paced album in some parts as
mm.
well. But I love the groove, that we still bring, and the street, like I like to call it like it's almost like street horror rap metal in a sense, more leaning on the heavy deathcore metal stuff, but there's still just that little flavor that I put in there sometimes. So
I can tell you're very proud of what you've accomplished here.
yeah, absolutely, I am proud of it. I just try not to let it get to my head, and I'm trying to stay humble, keep working at it.
No, As you said yourself, you're an independent band, and in this sort of financial world, in the world of finances, where it's very hard to make good money, or at least money enough to live on, that stuff keeps you humble, I think, more than anything else.
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
When you reflect on the entire period of Phobias, and I'm talking from the very first note that was ever laid down to the final, it being out next month, what are some of your favorite memories?
Honestly, um, waking up in the morning after recording and writing with Luke and Alan, and I would kind of just I would lay there for 2 hours. I'd watch Sopranos and have 7 cups of coffee and kind of just like get ready for my day. It was just me. There was the only care in the world I had was to keep working at it with the guys and just really looking forward to the next day. I mean, when you get in the moment and you're recording and you're walking back because I don't have I didn't have a producer in the room, so I would sit in this chair. I would fix a few things on my vocals, stand back up, walk a few feet over. I mean, I probably walked a couple miles back and forth just to get this thing recorded. So it's just the whole process itself was really special, and it's a headspace that was very unique and also like where I physically was in life. It will never it like will just never happen again. So phobias is
Wow.
something special for sure.
Oh, wow. It will always be a unique time period for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just where I was living, what I was doing, the people I was surrounding myself with. It was just there's just like certain aspects of it that make it special.
It's fantastic. Of course, once it's out there. There's not much else you can do about it. It's walking its own two legs, and people are listening, judging, enjoying, disliking, whatever it is. But what do you hope listeners take away from it?
Um, honestly, I just hope that people keep telling people that have never heard of Traitors, give this band a chance, give them a listen. Um, the one thing that pains me to see is people like, man, you're such an underrated vocalist. I'm like, well, shit, I want to be overrated. I want people to be mad that I exist. I try to, like I said, I try to stay humble and I'm just trying to get Traitors out there. I really
Yeah.
genuinely, I don't really listen to metal that much anymore because I want to keep Traitors unique and I don't want to chase other sounds. And I really feel like that we're still pioneering and we're still onto something. And I'm really trying my best to hang in there. And I always feel like even if I don't if I decide that I don't want to be a 38 or 45-year-old deathcore vocalist, I will still always I feel like I'll always record Traitors for the people that
Mhm.
will listen. Traitors could literally always, especially since I can record from home, Traitors should always be there for people,
Mm,
especially if they're still there listening.
incredible. Hopefully, we want this album to be as successful as possible, not just to ensure that, you've got a strong future, but just to get that word out across the entire bloody world and get you places playing live and so on. So, what would
Yeah.
success for this album look like?
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm trying to stay real, not have major expectations. Like I said, it's been a long time. So, you'd think it's like, oh, this is gotta be the one. And it's like, I'm aware of my position right now. We're kind of on a clean slate. I'm taking the full lead in the band, the lead role, and making all the hard decisions and all that fun stuff. But realistically, I have no expectations. I know that we're re-oiling the machine right now. I know that we were absent for quite some time in the writing process. So I know that, there's going to be more music after this, and I just look forward to honestly getting back into the writing mood already. Like I said, this album's been done for about 6 to 10 months. It's been just about finished. So
Mm.
I'm about brain wise, I'm about ready to drain my life energy for the next few months and write another one.
You've creatively moved on almost.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready for the next step already. So I guess that's the cool thing about having something come out, uh, you know, almost a year after I've had it written, is I'm ready to get the next one going for people.
I love that. I love that when that happens. It happens a lot, of course, but sometimes the gaps aren't quite as big. We're here talking about phobias and what's about to come out in a month's time, but for you, it's years old. Um, But that's not the only exciting thing, of course. Lastly, I want to jump to March and April, where, oh my goodness me, what a tour. Busy, busy months for you. Crown
Oh yeah.
Guitar and Yosemite in Black. You are headlining that tour. It's incredible. So much that I want to know what the chances are that we're going to get you over this way in 2025. Now, of course, I doubt you're going to be able to tell me exactly here, there, when. But is there any possibility Europe, UK this year?
There have been some talks about going overseas. It just depends on where things land, and
Yep.
also we are, like I said, we're kind of working on something pretty cool for our fans and with another band right now. And if the planets align, there should be something special with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, overseas there's a slight possibility either early next year or sometime later this year.
Fair enough. Say no more. Keep our eyes attached to your socials. We really want you over here, and all because Phobias is out on February 21st, and it is, in my opinion, arguably the best thing you've done to date. Tyler, thank you so much for
Thank you.
taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate the kind words, and I'm so ready for this album to come out, and I know a lot of people are as well. So,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you having me, man.
No, not a problem. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, good luck for the next month. Hopefully, I'll speak to,
Y-
well, hopefully, who knows? I'll see you over this way sooner rather than later.
Yeah, let's get overseas, man. I want to throw up on the ferry again. I'd love to do that.
Fantastic.
Wait,
Take care, man.
yeah,
Go
you
on,
too,
sorry.
buddy. Oh no, I was gonna say you take care too. I just wanted to share something really quick. So we crossed the English Channel one time, and it was the last ferry to go because the weather was getting kind of rough. So once we got to that open water, wow, everybody on the ship was throwing up. I've never seen that in my life. Hundreds of people were throwing up at once because the weather was so crazy. There were people praying on the ground.
Oh
There were
my God.
pots and pans crashing everywhere. All the used food carts were crashing over. It was honestly, I had to get into a spot where I'm like, these ships don't sink. We're good. I I
They
I
are
threw
pretty
on some.
robust, but still terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I had to share that with you. But we'll hopefully be back over there soon, man. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.